How's it going, everybody? Tonight, I'm excited to announce my guest. He's a former Fresno State wide receiver, a native of LA, California, and a Texas Spring League alum from this past season. Delvon Hardaway, how's it going tonight, brother?
Yes, sir. How you doing, Michael? Glad to be here. Glad to join you.
Yeah, for sure. Me too, man. So, tell us a little bit about growing up in LA and how it kind of molded you into the man you are today.
Right. Growing up in LA is a lot different than it may be in other places. Obviously, it's a more city environment. It's a lot more packed, like coming from LA and then being to Fresno is like totally different for me. But growing up in LA was cool. I had all my friends that I grew up with and played Pop Warner and basketball, and we grew up together, played through high school and all those things. And then growing up in the area I did, South Central LA, it was pretty rugged, pretty tough. I actually grew up right on 58th and Crenshaw. I'm not sure if you're familiar with who Nipsey Hussle is. Yeah, so his shop was on the other side of where I grew up at. So that's the kind of the area I grew up in and the environment that I grew up in, if that gives anyone a picture, But like I said, it was fun. You obviously had your sports and your things that you could do as a kid, but you obviously had other things that were going on in the community. But, you just tried to keep a level head, have the right guidance, and, choose the right path and make the right decisions. But it was definitely fun. It definitely molded me into who I am today. Like you said, just the way I think, the way I move, the way I act, is all a product really of my environment.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned that corner of Crenshaw, but I think a lot of people kind of know about it from All American on Netflix. You watch that
Right.
at all? Is it
Yeah. I watched it. I checked it out. Yeah, it's pretty dope. I actually got a buddy who's actually in the show. He plays football too, named Marcus Peterson. He's
Yeah.
actually in the show too, so it's pretty dope.
I think I reached out to him actually. He didn't get back to me. I'm trying to get him on the show because I'm trying to
Yeah,
I'm trying to get some
that's my
inside scoop
boy.
on
I'll
that.
tap in with him for sure and let him know. He's
Uh,
always busy though, man. Marcus
yeah,
always got something going on.
yeah, it seems like it. So, going back to high school, you had two main offers coming out of high school: San Jose State, who you originally committed to, and then Fresno
Mhm.
State. Tell us why you decided
Right.
to decommit from San Jose State and then ultimately chose to go to Fresno State.
Right. Yeah. So, like you said, I was committed to San Jose State. I actually had the Colorado offer too, right? But when I was originally coming out at the time, I think they were coming off a 1-11 season, right? So I was just sitting on their offer and kind of just had that. And then I got Fresno State really later on after I did like all American games and those things. San Jose was with me the whole way throughout my senior year. I went up to their camp prior to my senior year and did really well there. They gave me a scholarship. So I was committed to them throughout the season, just sitting on that Colorado offer. And like I said, I didn't have Fresno State yet. So I took the trip to San Jose, loved the coaching staff, loved the program at the time where they were headed Coach Mike McIntyre. And honestly, the day after I left, I got back to school and I'm in the library and my phone's just buzzing and buzzing and buzzing. And he ended up leaving and going to Colorado. So he took the San Jose job and went to Colorado. So me having that offer, I thought that, okay, maybe I'll be able to go there to Colorado with them. But they obviously had a bunch of receivers who were committed to the previous coaching staff who they had to honor their scholarships. So that didn't work out. Like I said, Fresno State came on late after, San Jose was coming into a new coach, Fresno State. I took the trip up here, saw, what they had going on the field with guys like Devante Adams and Josh Harper, Isaiah Burse, and Derek Carr, and was like, man, I want to play in that offense. I want to play in that system. It was close to home. So, that's why I ended up choosing Fresno State.
That's what's up, man. That's kind of a wild ride already, bro.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. This story is like a 30 for 30 story, man. I'm telling you, watch when we dive into
Bet,
it.
bet, bet. Hey, butt in anytime you want to, bro. I'm here for all of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Good, good. So, yeah, you were part of a Fresno State receiver room that saw three players make it to the NFL within your span there. How was it
Yeah.
competing with those guys every day? Kind of what tips did you pick up from them? Like, just kind of go in on like, kind of what it was like to be a receiver at Fresno State.
Right. Yeah. So, like I said, initially coming in my freshman year, I'm just a kid from LA. I'm coming up to Fresno. All you really know is football. You're not really ready for the culture shock of, 6 a.m. workouts, study hall, the college just curriculum and playing football, just all the demands. So, initially I didn't really have any expectations other than to come and just, compete on the football field. But like I said, when I got here, I obviously had guys like Devante Adams in front of me, Josh Harper, Isaiah Burse. These are guys who were breaking records, who are shattering records. Devante's killing it in the NFL right now, right? So obviously knowing that I wasn't going to play, I was going to end up redshirt, and I instantly went into just knowledge mode, just soak knowledge up. just watching everything he did, Devante and Josh did at practice. And it was crazy because, like, I was a freshman, but for some reason they were older, but it was weird because I was, like, the only freshman, like, that they were cool with. So I was, like, always at their house or, like, always talking to them, always hanging out with them. So my freshman year, to me, was kind of different because it wasn't like a real redshirt year because I didn't mention I was traveling with the team the whole time. So, like, I just wasn't playing, but I was basically doing everything that a person that would be playing would be doing. Like, I wasn't in developmental lifting or any of that. So I was really just soaking up as much knowledge as I can, just watching film with them every day, just asking a bunch of questions, just damn near being annoying to a certain extent. And then obviously when they left, Derek left, we had a new quarterback and it was my time to step up. You know, I ended up starting my redshirt freshman year, had a good performance against Nebraska and USC that year, and I believe Boise State. And then, you know, had a good season. I think we ended up going 6-6 that year. We lost the Mountain West Championship, but it was a good year for us. It was a good year for me gaining experience and playing as a freshman. And then moving on into my sophomore year, I had a partial ACL tear in spring before that season. So ended up rehabbing it in 6 months, ended up playing with the brace, ended up playing the last 9 games of the season, but obviously I wasn't at full strength. I obviously wasn't able to showcase my abilities the same way. And then what happened after that? Junior year came. We went 1-11 that year. That was just a bad year for all of us. It was just new coaching staff, new players, new everything. So we went 1-11. That season was just kind of like a throwaway season, really. Like, everything was just off. And then going into my senior year again, I ended up having a full ACL tear. So I ended up missing my original senior year, having to rehab that, having to sit out, and then getting a 6th year of eligibility, what they created in the NCAA, and ultimately using that 6th year to once again, you know, regain full strength, regain full health, finish getting my degree, and obviously things like that. But still competing every day, which you hit on for the first part. That was always big with me, and what I think is allowing me to continue my career and catapult and have so much momentum that I'm having is just my competitive nature and being competitive with those guys. Like, college is weird because you're with the guys you're competing against every day. So you're but it's like I'm competing against you every day. I'm trying to take your spot. You're trying to take my spot. So it's weird, but you have to have that balance. And like I said, be able to compete with each other, but also share ideas with each other and share insights with each other. So it was definitely fun, though.
Yeah, that's dope. It's crazy. You got
Yeah.
to play with freaking Devante Adams, bro. That's what's
Yeah.
up.
Man, that was crazy, bro. Freshman year watching that was just, we were ranked 14th. I think we were undefeated every game until we played San Jose. Like, I think it was a game like this, like a Wednesday night or something before Thanksgiving. It was like a shootout, like 54-51. And then we ended up going to the Vegas Bowl and losing to USC later that year. But, man, they were going – I'm talking about Derek Carr throwing for 400 yards every game. Either Tay's going to have 10 catches for 204 touchdowns, and then Hart going to have 9 for 175 and 3 touchdowns. It was just crazy.
Yeah, that's what's up. So give
Crazy.
give us a little sound bite. What was like one of the funniest moments you've ever seen? Like one of those NFL dudes just doing the locker room or something funny that you can give us. Don't expose nobody though. But
Yeah,
you know,
something funny.
just something that really like defines who they are, like outside of just the football player that we see on Sundays.
Right. Oh, those guys. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of hard to think about right now, like, because it was so much. I mean, obviously, like, now those dudes are older, right? And they're in the NFL and they have, you know, the success and things that they have. But at that time, we're all kids still. We're all like 18, you feel me, 20 years old. So everything we did was funny. We're always goofing off. We're always just doing dumb stuff. Obviously, the people on the field don't see that, but I would be telling you everything if I had to pinpoint one thing to tell you about that, because every day it was something new for sure.
Yeah. So just kind of take what's the Fresno State game day like? You know, like what time do you get up? What time do you eat breakfast? What time you're meeting? Stuff
Right.
like that. Just kind of give it all to us.
Right. So Fresno State is being on the West Coast in the Mountain West. We primarily get the later games. We're primarily playing like 8 o'clock. When we play Hawaii, it's like game for like, it's like midnight, like times like that. So we're basically waking up at like game day, maybe like 9 o'clock, 9 a.m. We're going over for breakfast, going over our tips and reminders, do a slight 15-minute walkthrough, and then you're back to your rooms for maybe a good 4 hours where you're just getting off your feet, getting your mind right. watching highlights, whatever you need to do, listening to music, stretching at the facility, already getting extra activation, all those things. And then we would come back for a team lunch. We would all eat lunch at the across the street, actually, at this diner that we had. And then we would actually walk over after lunch and do what we had called the Bulldog Walk. There's like fans on both sides. They got all the tailgating going on and all the festivities and things like that. And we all walk through the fans, and then we head back into our facility. And then once again, we just go into 2 more meetings. We go into now a special teams meeting to cover everything on special teams again, and then offense and defense. And then, you're in the locker room. Now you're getting ready for the game. Guys are going to get treatment and stretched out. Some guys are, just chilling. Some guys are listening to music. Other guys are still goofing off. That's how they get ready for games. And, it's just a bunch of different things going on like that, but obviously all with the same goal in mind, to make sure that we come out and compete and win and everything like that. So once we get in there, then we're, stretching. We're out for pregame stretch, which is in our weight room. Actually, we used to do it in our weight room with Coach Andy Ward. And then we would come back, and then you could go down on the field and do warm-ups or do whatever you need to do, get extra catches in, stuff like that, come back up. Then maybe have about 30 minutes left, I'd say, and then we begin pregame rollout, starting with specialists, quarterbacks, receivers, O-line. Obviously, go down on the field, warm up, go through 7-on team, all those things, kick a field goal, bring it up, and then head up to the locker room and wait for the kickoff.
Yeah, that sounds lit.
Yeah.
Uh, so what do you think, what skill sets do you think you bring to an NFL team that maybe other guys don't?
So the thing that I feel defines me, or that sticks out about me, is not actually having just one prototypical play style, right? So I feel like I bring a lot in one. I feel like I bring, if we need to be more physical this week, if we need to have more down and dirty catches, a lot of contested catches, I can get that done. If I need to separate from a guy at the line of scrimmage who may be more physical than me, I can get that done. I feel like my game just adjusts very well to different schemes, different play styles against different competition. And that's one thing that I actually pride myself on is, not being able to be predictable or have a set prototype, because once you get to the NFL, guys watch film and they key on everything you do, and I key on everything they do. So me being able to have so many tools in my toolbox and adjust week to week based on who I'm seeing, the coach that I'm seeing, the scheme that they run, the coverages that they run, I think that's what's always given me a bigger upper hand in my career, because it's always whatever system I'm in, I'm able to mold to it. You have those guys where they can't run a 10-yard speed out. They can only run 12-yard power cut, because the West Coast offense is different from whatever offense they run, or Fresno State's offense is different from Baylor's offense, right? So I think that I can really put my game into any offense or any system and have good success.
Yeah, that's super valuable too.
Yeah.
So you just got done balling out in the spring league. Kind of take us into that experience. What kind of experiences did you gain? What'd you learn? Kind of stuff like that. I know you balled out. You
Right.
showcased your talents a lot more. So kind of just take us into that.
Spring league was great, man. It was a great opportunity for me. Like you said, to be able to go and ball out and showcase my abilities and showcase my talents. I learned a lot, it was honestly my first real professional level competition, if you would say. So it was a lot of former XFL guys obviously playing, a lot of guys who were on practice squads in the NFL. So me seeing that I still have me seeing that the play speed wasn't that difficult for me was definitely a huge confidence booster for me. Once I got out there and I saw okay, I'm just as fast as these guys. I'm just as good as these guys. Now the confidence is there, and that's when you can really be in just playing again, right? And then making the big plays that I made, because me having the confidence, preparing and practice against those guys, preparing against former NFL guys, former XFL guys who were great. Don't get me wrong, I didn't win every battle. They definitely got me a lot. I got them a lot. And that's what made all of us better in the end. And it was so great for me just having it on Fox Sports and just having it be to such a wide audience and platform, because it was okay, who is this kid? He's making a lot of plays. He's making a lot of big time catches. Let's find out who he is. Let's actually find out his story, which has been the biggest thing for me, was just opportunity, right? It's never been my talent or my ability. I just, like I said, at Fresno State, had a couple injuries, so the road got longer, right? Obviously, the doors closed they're not as big. You're not going to get drafted. You got to be a free agent. You got to go through things like the spring league. And, it was great for me. It was a great platform, like I said, to showcase my ability. I felt like I did what I needed to do. So, now we just continue to work and, look for the next step.
Yeah, for sure. So let's self-scout a little bit. What do you feel like is
Mm-hmm.
something I know you talked about how you pride yourself on like not being predictable, stuff like that.
Right.
What's something you feel like you still need to work on?
One thing that I still need to work on, I would like to get better at the line of scrimmage in terms of my releases, in terms of being able to get away more clean. I would say create more separation, more space, be more patient. I have a tendency when I'm at the line of scrimmage to think I'm doing something in a patient manner, but then when I watch it on film, I'm like, damn, that was way too quick. He didn't feel that, or he didn't react the way I wanted him to react. So I think I definitely can work on being more patient than quick at the line of scrimmage instead of just always wanting to go fast or be too patient. Kind of just finding that medium that guys like Devante Adams have and Keenan Allen and those guys, just finding that. And then I was just saying, continue to catch the football cleanly, continue to just make the big catches, the contested catches, because that's what they want to see at the next level. Everybody can catch a wide open slant or a wide open curl route. They want to see you make that catch with a guy hanging off your back, or make that catch with guy pulling on one arm or something crazy like that. They want to see that catch radius. So definitely just making those consistent big time catches.
Yeah, for sure. So who you bumping to pregame, bro? Who's on your pregame playlist? Who you listening to get you fired up?
Yeah, pregame, man. So I've always been a Meek Mill guy. He kind of came onto the scene 2012, like right when I was in high school, like all those songs, Dreams and Nightmares, the intro, all those type of songs. So I'm always like Meek Mill heavy with like some T Grizzly. I like high energy. So I'm like Meek Mill, T Grizzly, and then being from the West Coast, I got some Nipsey Hussle in there. And then I got some Future in there just to vibe out, mellow a little bit. Guys like that, some good J. Cole, maybe if I really, if it's a prideful game, like an emotional game to me, I would take it there, get some Friday Night Lights going on or something. So, yeah, but just really those guys, man, a lot of Meek Mill, I would say definitely. He probably shoulders the weight on game day for sure.
Damn, with that playlist, you about to fuck someone up. All right.
Man, yeah, I got to keep it nice and hype, keep it going.
All right, bet. So this is kind of what I really want to dive into. Football or not football, you can take it wherever you want to take it.
Right.
Platform's yours, brother. But what has been probably like the biggest adversity you've had to face in life, and how'd you like overcome it? Who'd you lean to? You could shout out
Right.
your friends, your family. Who'd you lean to get through those hard times?
Right. My biggest adversity for me, obviously, in life was the injuries in college. Like I said, coming from where I came from, I already didn't really have the opportunity to play. Like you said, I only had 2 offers. So when I got here, I definitely wanted to make my name known, to obviously get to the next level. So sitting behind Devante and those guys, bam, I got the knowledge I need. Now it's on me to go out and play. Boom, I ended up getting hurt. It was a partial tear, right? So, I ended up rehabbing quickly and coming back, but I honestly knew I wasn't 100. Things didn't feel right, I would say. Like my knee it just didn't feel right. It just felt off to me. So I ended up just continuing to play on it. And then obviously before my senior year, when it tore again, it failing on me. So the graft actually failed because it wasn't put into the right place. And it obviously wasn't the right graft. I was using an Achilles cadaver graft. Cadaver is a deceased person, instead of a patella tendon, which they use in the pros, which is your own ligament from the front of your knee, and then they attach it in, and that's your new ACL, right? So the road I chose, the reason that they did that was because there would be a quicker recovery time. Like I said, I ended up playing later that season, finishing 9 games. So that's kind of how college works, though. I mean, they want you now. What can you do for them now? So, that was the road. And then I obviously tore it again. And it devastated me because that year was going to be a big year for me. That year we had Alabama on the schedule. We had Washington on the schedule. We had a lot of heavy hitters on the schedule. So I was training my ass off that summer, 3 times a day, 4 times a day, busting my ass, and then get to fall camp. And to have that happen, it devastated me because it was before my senior year. At this time, initially when the injury happened, that NCAA rule for 6-year of eligibility wasn't there yet. So I was asked out. I was get ready for pro day. Hopefully you better be ready for pro day, or you may never play the game you love again, right? So I started looking into wide variety of different options. I took a lot of trips to some D2 schools. I took a trip to Winona State in Minnesota. I took a trip to Humboldt State up north here in California. And where else? Slippery Rock. And I think that's in Pennsylvania, actually. Yeah,
it's not
Slippery
far
Rock.
from us.
Yeah, Slippery Rock. So, yeah, I was going to go D2. And then there was just a lot of just problems D2 with my my credits transferring, my courses transferring over and stuff like that. So the D2 route wasn't going to work, right? So now you're never going to play the game you love again. You don't have the opportunity. It's snatched away from you. You had all this great future going for you or whatever, such and such. Ended up getting the 6th year back. But that whole year before I didn't get my 6th year eligibility back, my scholarship was also gone and taken away from me. So not only did I have the torn ACL, not knowing if I would ever be able to play football again, my scholarship was taken away from me. So now I'm not even enrolled in classes. Now I'm not even doing anything. I'm basically just sitting at home all day. And who came into my life was a guy named Alex Jones. So he came into my life with the new coaching staff, right? So the year I got hurt was also the first year Coach Jeff Tedford came. And he brought his staff with him, and there was a strength staff from the University of Stanford. There was Alex Jones, who was the assistant, and there was Coach Andy Ward, who was our head strength coach. And Coach Jones, me and him just built a rapport outside of football. He would just see me around. We would just talk. We would have casual conversations. And he just invited me to come in and train with him in the weight room. He was like, man, I know you're not on scholarship. Excuse me. I know you're not on the team, but you can still work out here, man. Like, you can still train here. You can still be around the guys. And obviously that was hard for me because I was missing my senior year. Like, it wasn't that I was being selfish or didn't want to be around the guys and stuff, but it hurt me more to be there than not to be there. So I didn't want to go to the facilities. I didn't want to go out to watch practice. I didn't want to go to meetings because it wasn't me being selfish or not wanting to be around my guys. It was just hurting me more to be there and be like, damn, like, this is it. Like, this was my senior year and it did happen. But long story short, I ended up training with him, and the consistent bond that we built daily, just him believing in me, just waking me up at 5:30, let's go start rehab and let's go do this. Boom, go home. You're not taking classes. All right, eat, we'll come back in 3 more hours. Now we're going to do upper body. Now we're going to do this. Boom, go back home, come back. Now you're in the training room. Now you're in the pool. You're in the cold tub. You're doing stuff like that. And that helped me develop the patterns of a professional without me really even knowing I was doing it at the time, because I did it so consistently because not one, I had to, and two, I wanted to. One, I had to because I was rehabbing, so I had to get back to 100%. And two, the way that he approached me with it and the way that we approached it together, it made me fall in love with the game all over again. And it made me much more hungry than I was before. I felt like I was at a point in my life where I was just content. Like, I'm a D1 player. I start, I get catches. I'm here in Fresno. Like, you just get complacent. Like, we all have that habit in life to just get content and get complacent, and we need something to shake us up. And I felt like that's what it was with my injuries. Like, it was just God telling me and showing me, like, dude, if this is what you really want, you have the ability, but it's bigger than just football. I don't think that's what people understand. Like, it's bigger than just playing on the field. Like, you have to be so disciplined in your regimen of just everyday life, right? Not even just eating the right things, but like just making the right decisions all around, like extra time doing soft tissue, extra time doing this, doing that. Like, you have to be so detailed in that. And that's what Coach Jones helped me do. So once he did that, everything just started falling in place. Once I saw myself being consistent with the work that I was putting in with him, next thing you know, boom, the 6 year of eligibility comes into play. Now you can get an extra year. Yeah, clutch, right? So it's like, damn, like, you were preparing this whole time, not even knowing that this will happen. So, like, now you're ready. Like, it happened at the perfect time. So I literally, bro, this ended up happening like a week before they went back to summer workouts. So that whole year from when I got hurt fall, all the way through winter, all the way through spring, boom, that upcoming summer, this ended up happening like a week before. So I went up to talk to Coach Tedford, and he was like, yeah, I bring you back on scholarship. Like, I want you to finish, get your degree, obviously be around the guys, all that good stuff. So I ended up, like I said, coming back my 6th year and, competing and contributing in the ways that I had to for my team. Obviously not the ways I wanted to, but like I said, just him coming into my life at that time was like one of the biggest things for me. And that was like the biggest adversity for me because it was like way deeper than just like an injury, bro. Like those things mess with college guys' heads so much. I don't think people understand how big like injuries play a role in our lives. Like when all we know is football and this is what our future is set up to be. And then to get the game snatched away from you twice, not once for me, but twice, it was like, man, I was at a super low point in my life, bro. And I just want to pay homage to him, to Coach Jones, definitely. And I appreciate him for coming into my life and us just developing that work ethic and that habit and those patterns, and then obviously setting me up to be where I am now.
For sure, bro. That's a
Hell
crazy
yeah.
story, bro. Those
Yeah, man. It's
injuries, man,
crazy.
it's just one thing that people just don't understand. If they've never played sports, bro, it just seems like, oh,
Right.
okay, you get an injury, you rehab it, you're good to go. But like,
Right.
it's not that simple, you know.
Yeah.
I got a
It
couple more.
affects a lot for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So I got a couple more questions for you.
Yep.
The next one kind of popped into my head as you were speaking. Kind of what's next for you, man? So, you just finished up the spring league. What are you kind of doing
Right.
now to stay in shape? Have you got any interest? Like what's kind of the next steps here for you?
Right. Yeah. So after the spring league, it was a good showcase for me. Now I've just been back home, just honestly relaxing these last couple of days, just helping my body rejuvenate and get back going before I start hitting the training hard again and stuff like that. But going into the spring league, I actually didn't even have an agent or have any representation or anything. Like it was just all me. And then coming out of the spring league, I actually met two guys up there. I met one guy earlier when I was there. He's more of an international rep. And then I met a guy recently. Won't drop his name yet because everything's not official. But yeah, just met a new agent and stuff like that. So he's going to come on and represent me. And he represents a lot of good guys in the NFL. And he has a lot of guys in the CFL. So working with him and the product that I put on the field at the spring league, I know that I'll definitely have something coming. So, right now I'm just waiting, like you said, just training, staying ready, because I definitely know that I'm going to get some XFL or CFL, if not NFL. So I definitely know I'll be playing somewhere soon. So now it's just about staying healthy and staying ready for sure.
Oh yeah, that's the same energy you got to keep, bro.
Man,
One last
definitely.
question. One last question. Any advice for those young athletes out there? Maybe they don't have very many offers coming out of high school. Maybe they
Right.
do have some injuries. What kind of advice can you give them? From your own personal experiences to just keep fucking going. Like, you know what I mean? Just keep
Right.
going, keep pushing. What can you give them?
You just got to eliminate doubt, really, and believe in yourself. That's the biggest thing, is just eliminate doubt. There's a lot of outside distractions. There's a lot of outside voices that play a role in what's going on, especially today in a lot of young people's lives. But you got to believe the voices that you hear, the voices that you feel, the intuitions that you have, and just believe in yourself and go for it. A lot of people are scared to fail in life, and that's why we don't go for a lot of things, because not because we don't want to try because it's hard, but if we fail, damn, how's everybody going to look at us if I said I was going to do something and I didn't do it, right? So, I mean, just believe in yourself, eliminate doubt, work hard, be consistent, be determined, don't take no for an answer, and just chase your dreams, man. That's what life is about. We only get one life. Nobody has the same life. Your dream may not be someone else's dream. It may not be as important to them, but it's important to you. You feel me? So just believe in it and keep chasing it. And that's what's kept me motivated. I've had a lot of doubt over these last couple of years with getting injuries and not performing the way I wanted. And damn, what is Hardaway doing? Is he ever going to play again? Or is he going to be stuck here? Is he going to be back in LA? Just a lot of words flying around and a lot of different energies flying around. But I'll just remain level-headed, because I've always known this is what I love. And this is the path that's for me. It's just taking a little bit longer. But when it happens, it's going to be that much more sweeter. When people get things handed to them, it looks good. Like, damn, they have it already. They have it. But when you go through shit, bro, when you get dirty for it and then you get it, bro, it feels way better. It feels way better. So just keep going, just keep pushing, and just go get it.
Yeah, damn right. All right, guys, Delvon Hardaway for you all coming up real soon. My man's gonna be balling somewhere. We don't know yet, but it's gonna
Stay
happen.
tuned. Stay tuned. This is where it started too. This is the first one with my guy Michael, man, the original.
Hey, hey, you already know. All right, bro. Have a good night.
All right, man. Appreciate it.